Welcome back to your favorite show, Hunter Rex Hunter. Not at all familiar, not similar to anything. We're going to be going over another video of mine, and that is trolling the LA Women's March from very early 2019. Why am I talking about this video specifically? Because I've definitely made worse videos in the past, let's be fair. It's a funny story, actually. And I scoured everywhere to show you this, but I could not find it. So if anybody can find it and they want to send it to me on Discord or something, I would love you forever. But recently, someone took a clip of this video and posted it on TikTok. And that video went on to garner 8, 9, 10 million views and got over 1.2 million likes. I never fucking thought that I would see my face with 1.2 million likes. Not views. Likes. Wow. You can imagine for a solid 5, 10, maybe even 15 minutes, my self-confidence was fully elevated because I got a lot of likes. But then it quickly came down like a roller coaster of emotions when I realized, well, it wasn't actually me that got those likes. It was someone else who jacked my shit, didn't give me credit, and stole a fuck ton of engagement that I would have rather had. But then again, I would never have posted this clip nowadays. Anyway, after I saw that it went viral, I thought, you know what? I gotta fucking talk about this video, especially because after we talk about it, I'll probably end up taking it down. Let's skip all the intro and narration shit. We're just gonna skip right into the actual conversation part.
For trans immigrant documented women.
Okay, why is women spelled with an X?
Just so it can be like more inclusive of other like ranges in the gender spectrum. I didn't want to just like say like women.
You don't want to have to say men in there, right?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. No,
Okay, so I'm kind of doing a little bit of the Caitlyn Bennett thing here. And don't get me wrong, I'm still gonna go to rallies and interview people, but the way I'm interviewing these people, I feel it's a little dishonest. I kind of baited him into just agreeing with a stupid position, lol kind of thing. I don't know. I just think that it's like I'm trying to bait them into saying some stupid shit. But at the same time, the reason I say I'm kind of pulling a Caitlyn Bennett thing here is these are random people. This guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. It's cringy to write womanixen. Yeah, everyone makes fun of that shit. I could have done this without baiting him into a question, kind of being bad faith there.
I don't think women are oppressed in this country.
All right, let's see.
Why do you think we do need feminism?
Because abortion laws are being threatened, which means we can't control our reproductive bodies.
There could be a federal removal of a federal enforcement of abortion. However, it would still be left up to the states. So you would still have abortion in states like California, for example.
Hey, I say the same thing now.
You would have to, you'd have one abortion clinic in the entire state.
But I think
that's also true.
The importance of having a smaller government is that these issues such as abortion should be left up to the state.
Have you ever known?
Not a very strong argument on my end there. I'm not really too interested in critiquing the lady because these are random people at a political protest to show support for something that, granted, they're not really very well educated on or very good at speaking. I mean, some of this is kind of relevant with what we saw just happen in Texas. As far as me, I'm not making an argument. I'm just like, it's the important thing for a small government. It actually kind of sounds like I'm just saying a conservative buzzword. And I think what I was doing there is just saying a conservative, just small government. That equals good. I'm not even saying I disagree fully with that take now, but rather I'm saying that that's not a good argument. Just, that's a smaller government. That way it can be left up to the states. Well, then someone could easily rebuttal that, well, there are some things that shouldn't be left up to the states. There are some things that should be federally mandated. I don't want it to be left up to the states, like who can murder and who can't.
Is any sign of oppression. I understand, but I still don't.
With a man, I don't really care.
Actually, women are not paid less. The wage gap has been debunked multiple times. In fact, there was a study done by the Association of University Women that found that when there's the actual wage gap is only about 6%, and that can be explained by women. That can be explained by women's individual choices, hours worked, and education.
So let's get into this, because this is mainly the main thing I wanted to talk about. And then other than that, it's going to be just flipping through, laughing at some of my arguments. But when we're talking about the wage gap, these people explain it really badly. Are women paid less than men? What does that mean? What does that look like? And why are they bringing it up? These are the important questions to be asking. This lady doesn't have the answer. And I don't know if you guys have the answer yet either. And I don't think I'm going to give you the answer yet. I think we're going to watch the video for a little longer. And we're going to watch it on faster speed. Because watching me do this is very cringy. And I'd like to see it quicker. Thank you.
Held back from scientific positions. Yes, because it's not. Don't say no when I have people I know who are scientists, women I know.
And I'm stating statistics. I think that statistics overrule anecdotal evidence. See, I would tell you that's not. I would tell you that's not true. I don't think women are oppressed. I think women can do anything they want to do, and I think they can be successful in any institution. But it's actually the feminists who are telling women that they can't do things and that they're being held back.
What sign do you see here that says women stay home? What sign do you hear?
I don't see a sign that says that.
Right, because feminists are not holding women back.
It's not a bad thing for me to think women aren't oppressed.
So the bigotry of low expectations. You're raising awareness of something that you think is an issue? Sounds like you're the actual sexist now, bitch.
You guys want to talk to me? Women are not oppressed in this country, guys. You don't need well, why don't you guys tell me? Why do you need feminism?
Why do you not need feminism? Who are you? You're some white guy?
Yes, I'm a white guy.
Good for you.
But I don't think calling me a white guy discredits my opinions, and I think that's actually pretty racist.
Oh god, this is like Hunter being a fucking idiot, invading a rally full of terminally online idiots. This cannot end well, dude. Me? You don't need feminism? You don't need women, smaller state, government, less equals good? That's what PragerU said! And then you have these ladies that are like, you're just a fucking cis white male. You don't know shit. I talked to Brenda on Twitter and that's what she told me. Can we just have anyone who's balanced in the middle? Can we just have anyone that can recognize how both of this is bullshit and get to the nitty-gritty of the issue? Maybe that's what I'm destined for now.
Feminism is equality. Stop trolling.
Well, it's really more of a difference of opinion, but whatever you want to call it.
Stop trolling. It's a difference of opinion, he said on his video titled Trolling the LA Women's March. That's dishonest of me. I know that because I knew that I was going to use this title because my first Trolling the Women's March video was very successful. Why didn't I just own it and say, yeah, I am trolling? Maybe you should speak to the troll instead. Don't run away.
I think that's negativity. I'm here telling women that I don't think they're oppressed. I think that's a good thing.
Why do you think we don't need feminism?
Because women are equal members of our society and they have equal rights. There's not a single right a man has that a woman does not.
That's very, very, very untrue.
What? Oh, I've looked up the pay gap multiple times. In fact, the university...
If men wanted abortions, I feel like it would definitely happen by now. So don't tell us what, I think feminism oppresses women more. Feminism doesn't oppress women. It stands up for equality. It means justice. It means equalism.
But women already have equality, so why do we need a movement saying...
Don't.
What rights do women... What's one right that a man has that a woman doesn't?
It sounds about white. Let's just go.
Let's just say we didn't have
Throw a white comment at me. That's very legitimate, guys. Good job. You don't need feminism, guys.
We talk to a woman since we're both men. You're a man. Why don't we get
I don't like to play identity politics. I'd rather hear your opinion.
Well, I'm a man.
Right, but just because you're a man doesn't mean it invalidates your opinion.
Oh no, totally. But we're talking.
It's funny because I think this shit is dumb to be like, I'm a man, you shouldn't be talking to me. But right-wingers do the same shit. Candace Owens, how many times does she pull the black card? How many times do they pull the age card? Identity politics is so fucking cringy when it's used in this aspect, but it happens on the left and the right. And what's funny is I'm actually consistent in this sense that I think it's cringy to be this guy, to be let's ask a woman because you're just a man, or I'm sorry, a man. But I also think it's cringy when right-wingers do it too.
women having equality, so we should have women to talk about their view on equality. Like, has there been a time, or can you think of a time in recent memory, in like the last week, last few weeks, where you felt like you weren't treated fairly because you were a woman?
I'm trying to think. I've been doing a lot of striking with the teachers.
Yeah.
I haven't, as of lately, noticed it because I feel so much more empowered.
Oh no, come on, dude. That you don't have to be left, you don't have to be right. Let's just talk about the optics of this exchange. Purely the optics, okay? First he invokes the id pull. First he pulls the, well, I'm a man and I can see your flopping dick hanging and wiggling through your pants. And I'm saying, hey, I want to hear your opinion. I don't care. We don't need a woman in here to talk to me about this. We can talk about this. This should be a factual argument. And then he's like, let's pull in the woman to speak. We bring her in. Actually, I've been feeling really empowered, so lately I haven't been oppressed at all. Oh, man. You don't have to be, it doesn't matter. You know what? Am I gonna have to eat my words on populism? Are we all uniting now on the fact that this was a cringy exchange for these people? I feel bad for them. This guy may have even been able to bring up some arguments against me. Who knows?
Right to a man, what right does a man have that a woman doesn't?
Men have the right to walk down the street and read up. You've been buying into that Fox.
Why do they think?
Because of Planned Parenthood. It's specifically set up for. No, it's specific.
Thank you for mansplaining that to me.
So we're having a fair discussion now. The minute I bring up.
You're probably 19. When you grow up, you're going to be embarrassed.
I'm a bigot.
You know what? Did she call that one? Because I'm a little embarrassed here. The main thing throughout this video, though, and the main thing that I really wanted to focus on here was the wage gap. And you hear this invoked a lot. When we talk about the wage gap, not these people are insane. Granted, they are pretty kooky. But when we talk generally about the wage gap, it indicates a systemic problem, okay? Now let me explain this. The gender pay gap has remained relatively stable in the United States over the past 15 years or so. In 2020, women earned 84% of what men earned, according to a Pew Research Center analysis. So, what does this mean exactly, right? Because what happens is, and the classic 2016 argument that we saw brought up here is, well, women are paid less, which puts into your mind this idea that there's like this evil corporation that's just like, oh, because they're women, we don't have to pay them, ha 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 ha, or something. A lot of this can be explained if you account for education, hours worked, etc. Then you seal up the wage gap to about 6 to 4%. So this can be explained somewhat by hours worked and education. But that smaller gap, that 4 to 6% gap there, although we're not entirely sure, can point to underlying issues, systemic inequalities. For example, it's a known statistic that women are less likely to ask for a raise. However, why is that the case, right? These things aren't occurring in a vacuum. External forces influence some of these decisions. Is it because that oftentimes culturally, in subconscious ways or not, women are sometimes taught that they're supposed to be more of the quiet, tame ones, and it's the boys who are more rowdy, and that's, you know, boys being boys. Boys are the more assertive one, the girls are the quiet ones. I'm not saying that's every case, but that can play a role. So even for me to be like, well, actually it's women's choices that influence, yeah, that could be right, but then that might point to another possible problem, because why are women making these choices? I have a really, really good study, and it goes really in depth. One study found that parents are more likely to expect their sons rather than their daughters to work in STEM fields, even when their daughters performed at the same level in mathematics. This suggests that cultural norms influence girls' confidence, which in turn influences their success. This indicates something. This indicates that even if women are more qualified, or if a woman, or if a girl is more qualified or has the ability to pursue these fields, there might just be cultural expectations there. I'm not saying that the parents are evil and they're like, no, you're a stupid woman who must stay in the kitchen, but rather that there are cultural norms that reinforce ideas that can sometimes lead to women making these choices. So I think that when people bring up the wage gap and they're just like, women only earn 70 cents to the dollar, blah, 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 then it's like, that's a super reductionist way of looking at it. Even though much of this gap has been explained by measurable factors such as educational attainment, occupational segregation, and work experience, the narrowing of the gap is attributable in large part to gains women have made in each of these dimensions. Even though women have increased their presence in higher paying jobs traditionally dominated by men, such as professional and managerial positions, women as a whole continue to be overrepresented in lower paying occupations relative to their share of the workforce. This may contribute to gender differences in pay. So even this, right? Maybe you go to one job and maybe you're paid less because you have less education at the time. Maybe there actually is that, you know, evil boss that thinks that they can just get away with paying you less because their employees aren't really allowed to discuss wages around the office anyway. Your future employer is going to look at your salary, and if they see that you were paid less than some other man who might apply, they might offer you a lower salary as well. That continues the cycle. So that's why what I mean when I say that the wage gap, you can't just point to it by itself and act like that proves anything. Rather, the wage gap is an indication of a larger, much more nuanced and systemic issue. Other factors that are difficult to measure, including gender discrimination, may also contribute to the ongoing wage discrepancy. In a 2017 Pew Research Center survey, about 4 in 10 working women, 42%, said they had experienced gender discrimination at work, compared with about 2 in 10 men, 22%. Men are more... Okay, gender differences in salary negotiation explain a portion of the gender gap. Men are more likely to negotiate their salary, which increases their earnings. However, men and women face different social incentives for negotiation, and there's evidence that women are more likely to be penalized when they negotiate. I feel like this explains a lot more the importance of talking about this wage gap, but also why it's important to talk about it in a nuanced way, not like these feminists on the street screeching at me. There is still a real aspect of feminism, and I think the reason that it's hard to get people on your side, I've talked about this a little bit before in the past, is because it's so much more nuanced and ambiguous. Like, look at what we're just talking about here with this wage gap. We're talking about data that then we have to sort of infer from that data what that could mean about greater institutional norms and how we might need to change that to affect real systemic change. That's a hell of a lot more complicated than women aren't allowed to vote and women are people and they should have just as many rights as men, so they should be allowed to vote. That's easy. That's cut and dry. This is illegal, but it shouldn't be. We want to change the law. There we go. But third wave feminism, we're now focusing on social norms, cultural expectations, and these things are much harder to pinpoint. They're much harder to explain. And in turn, it's much harder to get people on your side, understanding what you're really trying to get at. And honestly, I think that's why feminism is so misunderstood. That, and of course, like I said, the loud, crazy people. I know that for me, when I was in this video trolling the LA Women's March, I certainly had never had a nuanced understanding of feminism or what the wage gap could actually mean and indicate and why that was valuable. Instead, this was mainly what I saw, and that's partially was my own doing, but also the right-wing echo chamber. All you ever really see are caricatures. You never really see like the full scope of the ideas, and you never see the ideas explained well. Hunter, stop being cringe. Okay, you look way cooler now with the mustache. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you get notified when I drop a new video.